All right, welcome back, everybody, to another It's All Nonsense podcast. This time we are back in the friendly confines of our studio, a.k.a. my home office. Like always, with me is Justin Kadish.
What is up? We are in the nonsense auditorium today. No remote. Mr. Adam I don't even know what Adam's doing today. He's playing nurse somewhere. So, Adam, thank you very much for filling in for us last week. Well, for filling in for Mark. I was there and got to enjoy everything. Ha ha. But yeah, we're back in our normal spot, and today's episode is all about the big game coming up.
We would be remiss to avoid the elephant in the room, which is the Super Bowl on Sunday, and the Eagles will be partaking in that Super Bowl and hopefully winning that Super Bowl.
It's not hopefully, it's happening.
So
it's happening. Sorry.
This week's episode is all about Super Bowl week, things that go about with Super Bowl week, and things associated with Super Bowl week. So first things I want to get to really is, since I was unable to attend the tailgate, I got to witness everything, obviously, but firsthand, how did it go? And would you do it again?
So getting down there, like we said, was a breeze. We didn't have any issues until we, were trying to get off at the stadiums. Getting parking was a nightmare. Absolute nightmare. I won't get into more of the stories because we did that last week, but now we know for future events to answer the next question. 150% hell yeah, that's happening next year on multiple occasions. That was so much fun. We just got to hang out with some true fans. We met the VP of RAC there of all places. Who knew? We got another Berks County guy here. I met some friends of Westchester where I grew up. It was an awesome time. Next year we'll plan it out to be in a little bit better lot, maybe
the tailgate lot.
An official tailgate lot.
We need to get next to the bench press guys.
Oh yeah.
see what you can throw up.
Yeah, that's. I got to start. I have to start training now for next year. But yeah, no, that's going to happen next year. Remote. We're going to do so many more remotes. We've been talking, about a couple other opportunities coming up here, and it was so much fun.
Oh, that's awesome. I had a blast watching it. The entire time, my wife and the kids were like, "Oh, are they back yet? How'd it go? How'd it go? I was like, I don't know. I was like, I will talk to him tomorrow and we'll find out how this all went down. So I was thrilled to hear how well it went, and I was thrilled to get to watch it, even though I was unable to participate. It was a very fun listen and watch, and I definitely will be part of this next time, hopefully also for another championship game.
I think so.
That would be fantastic.
I think we could find a way to work a remote for the parade.
Well, we'll have to check. We'll have to work around work schedules and see how that will go. But
you do.
Yes, I do. But that definitely would be. That would
be on a Wednesday.
That would be on a Wednesday. A funny premise. That would be a funny premise for sure.
Yeah.
But now that we're sort of into the nuts and bolts of this, it's getting into the real important matters of Super Bowl week, like the heavy duty, hard hitting topics. And that first topic is the best food for your tailgate and or Super Bowl party. This has a topic that can come to blows in certain families. So I think we need
some blow be during the parties themselves too.
I think we need to get into sort of the nuts and bolts of what makes a fantastic Super Bowl / tailgating food setup. Do you have yourself personal go-tos? Like, if it's one thing or if it's three things, what things are a must-have at a tailgate and or Super Bowl party this weekend?
So I'm always a big wing guy, but I am never happy how I do them because I don't typically have a fryer at home or anything like that. And I am a firm believer that wings have to be fried. It's just my opinion. You can love it, you can hate it. I don't care. You can smoke them, you can bake them somehow beforehand, whatever you want to do. But in the end, they need to be fried. They have to be crispy. Otherwise, I'm just like, it's like eating.
Most things are better fried anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's one of my favorites. I don't typically make them, but to kind of counterpoint that, buffalo chicken dip. I am a huge buffalo chicken dip. I make mine from scratch. I found a recipe years ago that I absolutely love. It gets a lot of love from people.
I've had it. It is quite delicious.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
As Guy Fieri would say, I would put a flip flop.
You could put that on a flip flop.
Flip flop, and I would eat that.
Yep. Shout out, Guy. Love everything that Guy Fieri does. Food Network is like one of my favorite channels out there. I'm trying to think, what else do I typically make? I can't say anything else really comes to mind that's like a staple for me that I make. If we go somewhere like a house party or whatever, I'm just kind of like the dip guy. I love chips and different dips and all that sort of stuff. So that's always kind of my thing. A little bit of everything kind of spread. So, yeah, that's me. What about you?
Well, I have a couple that are fairly traditional, and one that's not necessarily traditional, but it's kind of like Pennsylvania Dutchy.
Oh, really?
With a football twist.
Ooh.
So my go-tos are always having a great slider.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of sliders because it doesn't make me feel like I'm such a tub of lard when I have these little bitty things on my plate. But the great part about a slider is you can go in a million different directions.
Oh, sure.
You can go burger, you can go turkey, you can sort of mix it up however you want. But I think a nice slider tray is always clutch,
right?
Because it's something that everybody's gonna like because you can do different varieties of it.
Right.
Now, another thing that I have to have at a Super Bowl party and or tailgate is soft pretzels.
Oh,
now
that's a good one.
Now, out of the Philadelphia area, maybe that's not so much. However, I have an affinity for soft pretzels, as most everyone knows about me.
They used to comprise most of your diet.
Most of it, not anymore, but it used to. So a good, solid pretzel nugget tray is always good. And don't get me started on people who like the chocolate dip, aka my wife and my children. I don't get it. It doesn't belong with each other. I don't understand it. I need a good, solid, traditional stone ground mustard. Like that's it.
Right.
Like that's perfect.
I see your point with the chocolate, and I don't necessarily disagree with you. I like having a couple of those after I've had the mustard or the cheese on the big cheese pretzel.
Absolutely. Sure. Absolutely.
And we are blessed enough to have the Philadelphia Pretzel Factory literally in our backyard.
Correct.
So those trays are always plentiful and delicious. So for good or for bad, they're there. But yeah, no, I see your point. I kind of like mixing the cheese and the mustard and kind of like having
for sure. Yeah. I get behind that.
Scoopy.
Absolutely.
I do like a little chocolate, but it's not like my primary go-to.
Like the boys and my wife are always like, get the chocolate. It's like, why? It's a soft pretzel. They don't belong together. But apparently I'm the crazy one in the house.
Yeah, sometimes.
So the last thing that I was thinking of, and it's something that we've had every single Super Bowl party for as long as I can remember. My dad makes a chipped beef cheese ball in the shape of a football.
No.
Yes.
Ooh.
It's delicious.
Sounds delicious.
It's so delicious.
Don, I'm coming over.
It is so good. And every year it's he doesn't even. You don't even have to ask anymore. It's like you're making that, right? It's like, yeah, I guess so. I guess so. And the thing is, this it's like not everybody goes for it. However, I'm always on it. You know what I mean? And it's simple. It's delicious. It's a good thing to put on the side of the plate with a bunch of like Ritz crackers or Triscuits or whatever. And like in my younger days, I could probably eat a whole football. Not anymore. But do not misunderstand me. I will still be going after that football made of chipped beef and cheese very quickly when the party starts.
That still falls in your diet. Like sugar and carbs are the main enemy, but like fats and beets and salt is not so terrible for your health, your newly found health assessment.
That does make it sound better for me.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I had half of it, but it was all good. It's all good.
My blood sugar's still perfectly fine.
I'm checking my blood sugar. It's absolutely fine.
I'm good.
Not a problem.
Right.
So, and I think a lot of it too is kind of, it's not a party without it for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, I think a lot of it is, yes, it's delicious and I love it, but it's also something that I never remember having a Super Bowl party without it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that's part of it too, being perfectly honest. But let's, looking back on it, really, even having crappy food at a Super Bowl party, it's still a Super Bowl party.
Oh, yeah.
It's still going to be fun.
Absolutely.
You could, pizzas are also a good go-to because you're going to love it. And even if the pizza sucks,
Do you have a favorite pizza place around here?
Oh, gosh, I'll tell you what. I do, and it's one of those things where it wasn't until recently.
Oh, yeah.
So I started getting pizza from Pepperone's.
Oh.
Maybe a year and a half ago, because a good friend of mine, Tim, his daughter works there.
Okay.
And we would stop in, and it was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic.
We've never had it. So.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I really, my whole thing is a good crust.
Yeah.
Like for me, that's how you dictate a good pizza is how's the crust.
Are you like a Dave Portnoy fan where he's like no flop, charred undercarriage, crispy?
Yeah.
Like,
For sure.
I
A
am
million
too.
percent.
Yep. Okay.
$1,000,000%. I'm a 1,000,000% on board. I like it when they deck the pizza. You know what I mean? Yep. So they get the little extra throw on the bottom there and make it a little crispy on the bottom. I'm a huge fan of that.
Do they have like a wood fire or a coal oven over there?
They don't.
No?
They don't. Now, Anthony's, obviously, coal fire pizza is fantastic.
Yeah.
However, it's very expensive.
This is true.
So I sort of classify it as the best bang for my buck.
Sure.
And Pepperone's is not outrageous at all.
Okay.
Like it's on board with what you're going to go if you go to Mama's or whatever pizza. That's also confusing because there's like 18 Mamas.
Yeah, and like two of them are owned by like one guy, and there's one that owns like a separate one or something.
I am
like
sure
that.
there are not that many mothers out there that make pizzas. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking that they're taking liberties with that name, quite honestly. But a nice trick that I found out is some pizza places, you can ask them when you get a pizza made, instead of the traditional sauce, you can ask to have them use the marinara sauce.
What, for like the breadsticks or the
for
sticks or whatever?
Right. Use that on the pizza instead of the pizza sauce.
Oh.
It's a game changer. Because what it does, it makes it a little bit sweeter.
Right.
If you like a little sweet, it adds a little bit of sweetness to it, and it's pretty darn good.
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't learn this till a couple months ago.
Yeah, that's a new one for me.
Yeah, and they'll do it for you.
Okay.
Someone will upcharge you for it, but it's totally worth it.
Yeah, you're like, okay, whatever.
An extra $2, whatever. It's totally worth it. But it is really, really good. But it's, the problem with pizzas though is you can get kind of crazy.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of people that look at me say, this guy likes stuffing things in his pizza. And that is not true. I am anti-stuffed crust pizza. For the simple fact of this, as soon as that pizza gets 5 minutes cold, that mozzarella in that crust gets rock hard.
It does.
And it's gross. It's gross. And I know this for a fact because two of my best friends growing up were managers at Pizza Hut when they came out with the stuffed crust. And I was all on board. It's like, oh my God, it's the greatest thing ever. Nope. As soon as that thing, you can't eat that. Like,
it's not a cold pizza type.
No,
situation.
you can't. And I'm a cold pizza guy. Like, I am a firm believer there are a lot of pizzas out there that are better cold than they are warm. And I think I got that from my mom because my mom was a huge cold pizza person. But it's one of those things where you can't do it. You just can't do it. And let's be honest. Once you get into your 40s and into your 50s, stuffing things into your crust is probably not a good lifestyle choice to make. And because I'm a traditionalist with the pizza. You know what I mean? I like the thin crust. I like crispy. It's all about the crust. I don't like stuff in the crust.
See, I grew up obviously with the stuffed crust pizza. I always really liked it. I still do like it. But I completely see your point when it's cold. My big thing if we have leftovers of that, which we don't get it all that often because there's no Pizza Hut around here anymore.
Right.
So, the air fryer.
Oh yeah.
Went to reheat it. Game changer.
Wait a minute. You reheat your pizza in an air fryer?
I do. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Like you put it on like 350 for 5 minutes. Now I don't have like the traditional basket air fryer.
We have the basket air fryer.
We have it's called a Kasori or Tiscori or some shit like that. I don't know. And it's like it looks like a toaster oven, but it's a catch-all.
Oh,
so you
okay.
can broil with it, you can bake with it, all this stuff, and it works phenomenally well. So it's got this slide out basket. That you put your stuff in to air fry, so chicken or that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'll let it heat up to like 350 or 375. Put 2 or 3 slices on the tray thing, which it's all ventilated.
Right.
Stick it in there for 5 minutes, and it comes out, and it's like it just came out of the pizza oven. Wow. It is lights out.
I'm sure my wife will be listening to this because that could be a game changer for her and the boys.
I used to do it on the stove because like the microwave, and my wife and kids. Like,
it just gets rubbery.
Yeah, I'm not a believer. Like if I'm going to reheat it, because I like cold pizza. I'm with you. And actually, we had a couple weeks ago. We just tried Tosco for the first time. Now that they're open,
and
phenomenal,
awesome,
not cheap. We got 2 large pizzas. It was like $42. So not cheap, quality. Really good. So it was like probably like Anthony's.
Right.
Crust was excellent. And like to your point, it was phenomenal cold. Like I didn't feel like I needed to reheat it at all. It was really good cold. It was good reheated. Don't get me wrong. It was really good, but it was.
That's a sign of a good pizza.
Yeah, it was sweet. It was the crust was light. It was crispy. It was on point. So we got just a cheese pepperoni combo for the kids, and then Missy and I shared like I forget what it's called. It's like a white or so like.
I'm a fan of white pizza.
So it was olive oil, garlic, ricotta, spinach, and cherry tomatoes, and it was awesome. It was really really good.
I can mess with the white pizza every once in a while. Yeah. Those are pretty good.
Before we switch topics, I'm an idiot and forgot the charger to our mixer today. So we need batteries.
Wow.
So we need to take a commercial break even though we're at home.
You are a moron.
I am a moron. But you couldn't find the tripod this morning, so we're 1 for 1. Yeah. So we're going to take a small, quick commercial break. We'll be right back with more nonsense.
Well, that was a short break.
It was a short break. That was much shorter than my last commercial interruption at the tailgate.
Fortunately, we had batteries downstairs.
Thanks, Jen.
And we are off and running again.
Yes.
So obviously we are still on topic of the Super Bowl week.
Yes.
I kind of want to push into the actual game itself.
Okay.
However, different aspect of the game itself.
Oh.
What the Super Bowl is known for, obviously, besides the football, is the halftime show. And this has been a big deal since 1991. 1991 was the very first year there was a big musical headlining act.
Really?
Can you name that act?
No.
New Kids on the Block.
Oh, makes
1991. So ever since then, the halftime performance and the commercials were hand in hand,
Right.
necessarily,
Right.
as far as the marketing with the game. Now, that being said, since 1991, do you have a favorite Super Bowl halftime show?
So, in our pre-meeting, I had to like legit think about this because I am honestly not typically a halftime show watcher. That's usually my time if we're at a party to socialize, grab some beverages, you know, any of that sort of stuff. Unless it's an act that I'm like super into. And most of you guys know, but for those who don't, I'm very much a hard rock, metal, late 80s, you know, 80s rock, all that sort of stuff. That's my deal. And the Super Bowl usually doesn't have those type of performers. Metallica, we're still waiting on you to do the Super Bowl halftime. We're both in agreement over here.
Absolutely.
That needs to happen. And we can't wait to see you in May, by the way. Link, May. It's happening. So for me, I'll say two, because one is funny, one isn't.
All right.
We'll start with the one I genuinely liked was Super Bowl 56, I think it was, with Eminem, Dr. Dre, Snoop.
Yep. 50 Cent.
I am a more of an old school rap guy when it comes to that genre of music.
Sure.
You know, 90s, early 2000s, you know, that sort of stuff before all this BS is out right now, to be honest with you. That for me was like reliving glory days. I was jamming to that.
Yeah.
That was really well done. You know, a couple surprises in there. I really enjoyed that one. I thought that was pretty good. The one it's kind of a funny story. I forget what Super Bowl it was, but it was the famous nip slip incident.
I remember that.
Mr. JT and Janet Jackson, if I remember correctly.
Wait a minute. I thought it was Miss Jackson, if you're nasty.
Ooh. Where is that? There it is.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I was in college at the time. I was at Pitt, and I was in my buddy's dormitory. We're all hanging out watching the game. Went into the kitchen to grab myself a beverage, and all of a sudden I hear the guys in the other room erupt. I'm like, it's Timberlake and Janet, like, who cares? Like, really? And I've become a JT fan, by the way. I do like Timberlake now, but back then I was like, I don't give a shit, whatever. Everybody's, the boobies out, the boobies out. I'm like, what are you talking about? The boobs? Like, you can't have a boob on national television. This is before, obviously, all the stuff of today, which has totally changed. But back then it was a huge deal. And they're like, no, she fell out. She fell out. He like ripped off her shirt. And I'm like, what? And sure enough, you know, you watch the replay and, you know, it was hanging out there. I missed it. I was in the kitchen grabbing myself a beverage and completely missed it live. So, yeah, that was mine. But, yeah, the Eminem, Snoop, all that was that was my favorite. How about yourself?
Well, for me, there's obviously good ones that I remember watching. Like Super Bowl 56, like you mentioned. I'm a huge fan of 90s, early 2000s rap growing up. So that was absolutely wonderful. But I think for me, the best performance, most iconic performance was in Super Bowl 50, I believe, in the downpouring rain. I believe in Miami. It was Prince.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
I'm a huge Prince fan, number one. Number two, to watch him on the electric guitar in the middle of a downpouring monsoon where that man could have been electrocuted at any second is so badass that you have to respect it.
Oh, yeah.
And it was I think that's what set it over the top. His performance, wonderful, obviously. But the fact of the matter is, the man could have died.
The setting was just...
He was playing throughout the performance in a downpour. And the weird part was, honestly, like, his hair didn't move. Like, still have no idea how that happened. But the fact of the matter is, any performance of Prince is generally dynamite.
Oh, yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, he did it in a downpouring rain, playing the electric guitar amazingly, obviously.
Right.
Sort of set it over the top for me. And I think for me, that's like the most iconic performance.
Yeah.
It was really, you know, it's one of those things you still remember, you know, to this day, going on, 10 years ago. So I think nowadays, you know, a lot of it is more on like the stuff that goes with the music, like you know, so a lot of it's not kind of about the actual music itself, it's about the show of it. So that was really just to the point. It is what it was. It was all the music, you know what I mean, in that atmosphere of the rain. And that's kind of what sort of makes it like an iconic moment.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people would agree on that. But there's been numerous great performances and surprise guests and things like that. So I think it should be I think it should be up there towards the top of my list, where I've put it. But this year I think it's Kendrick Lamar. That should be interesting. Like Kendrick
I was just
Lamar.
going to ask who was playing because I had no idea.
Kendrick Lamar, I you know, he's pretty good. Obviously, I'm not into it like I was in the 90s when the rap achieved perfection. Shout out. But I think it should be pretty good. I'm looking forward to seeing how it shakes out. But more than anything else, it really comes down to the game.
Yeah.
And from the second the ball is kicked off until the second it is over, I will constantly feel like I need to throw up no matter what is going on.
So they could be in a rout and just...
We could be trouncing in a rout. We could be up 30 points with 5 minutes left. It's like, oh God.
It's like the Brady syndrome. Can Brady come back? Can he come back from 40 points with 4 minutes left?
Exactly it. So the entire game, I'm going to feel uber nauseous until it's over either way. That's just sort of how I've always been with the Eagles in the Super Bowl.
Right.
Now, obviously, if the Eagles aren't Super Bowl, I don't give a shit.
It's all about the commercials.
It's all about the commercials and the food, and it's a good time.
Yeah.
But the Eagles in it, it's a different ball game. And I'm nauseous the entire time, and I'm very superstitious when it comes to the Eagles. Some people know. Most game days, I do not wear Eagles gear because I consider it bad luck. However, I wore Eagles gear when they won the Super Bowl in Minnesota. So I'm going to wear Eagles gear for the Super Bowl this year.
Okay.
But usually on a Sunday, you won't catch me in Eagles gear because I consider it bad luck. I'm just really weird that way with certain things. I know I'm not the only one. So I think it's superstitious to the max. I saw the lady, an Eagles fan, yesterday down at the link, and she was spreading holy water around the link. I was like, everyone's like, oh my God, the lady's so crazy. God bless you.
Yes, thank you.
God bless you.
That's right.
I think that's amazing. Amazing God's work you're doing down at the link.
Has anybody been so stupid as of yet to dress up Rocky in Chiefs gear?
Yes. Yes. So that is something that my youngest has asked me about, and I told him the same thing every year, that someone does that. Maybe it's an Eagles fan that's dressing them up in Chiefs gear.
Whatever.
Maybe it's a Chiefs fan. I don't know. But what I'm telling you is, don't poke the bear.
That's exactly right.
Which basically means expect to get your butt whooped when you dress Rocky in your team's gear that's not from Philadelphia.
I mean, literally
The track record.
Look what happened to Washington last week.
The track record speaks for itself.
Yeah,
you can ask Minnesota from years ago when they came in here for the championship game,
Yep.
doing the Skull chant at the Rocky statue.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sorry, but not sorry.
No, you poked the bear, you're going to get bit. Sorry.
Exactly.
Yep.
So I'm hoping that's a good omen. I'm hoping it's a good omen.
Absolutely.
That being said, predictions. And obviously, we are not experts except for in our own minds.
You're better than I am.
So I'm going to give you the opportunity to give me a winner and a score.
Okay.
We will each do one. And then next week, we will see how we did.
Sure. Is BG confirmed playing this week?
Not 100% confirmed, but I would not be surprised if he's playing, even if he plays 10 snaps.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So being that I was a defensive tackle when I played for my, small, short career in high school, I'm very much a pro defense type person.
Agreed.
That's why hence asking about BG. So, Eagles are winning. I'm convinced of that. I think just all around they just have a better team. They have more stars at every single position. Not taking anything away from Kansas City. Mahomes has obviously been great. Their defense has been on point this year. It's been a different Chiefs than it has been in the last couple of years. It's been very pro offense the last 2 years. It's been defense that's kept them in the games this year.
True.
Still, I genuinely think some very questionable calls in several of those games. We won't get into
That's
all
another
the conspiracy theories there.
Yes.
But, to be very blunt, I don't think the Chiefs should be in the position they're in. I genuinely think the Bills should have been,
right.
In this position. That being said, I'm kind of glad it's the Chiefs because I think the Bills would have given the Eagles a harder time.
I agree.
So Eagles win 34-24.
I like it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Reasonable.
And I think the defense has a strong showing. I think they cause at least one fumble on Mahomes, and they're going to at least pick him once and maybe a pick six out of that.
Okay.
But I think they're going to get him at least once. So
okay.
One fumble, from Mahomes, and then at least one interception, and a whole lot of pressure up front. Of pressure.
For sure.
I think they're just coming after him. So, and I think on the offensive side of the ball, Saquon, at least 100. At least, they're going to play to stop him, which you can only try and hope to contain him. The offensive line is unbelievable, as we know. But I think they're really, really honing in on him, which is really going to open up Jalen. And I think everybody is underestimating Jalen. If you look at his statistics, he was one of the better quarterbacks in the league this year. He didn't have a bad year. He didn't have a he didn't have a Josh Allen year per se. He didn't have to.
Correct.
Saquon ran over everybody. When you've got a running back that can run over teams, you don't have to have an all aerial weaponry based offense. You just don't. You can do RPO every couple plays. You've got a mobile quarterback that's probably the best mobile quarterback in the game. Design run schemes for him. I don't think that stops this week. I think Jalen's going to get at least one. And I don't think it's just going to be a tush push. I think there's probably going to be a good 10, 15 yard run where he's able to, sneak off somehow. But I think Saquon goes for at least 100 and Jalen probably goes for at least 30. So
I like it.
Yeah, I think it's good. And I think Devontae Smith is going to be Devontae and what's his face? Tight end. Why is this guy? Goddard. I think Goddard and Devontae are going to be kind of like the unsung heroes of the game.
Sweet.
I really do. I think Goddard is going to I think he's going to have another day where he just punches somebody in the face and just wreaks havoc out
I slowed
there.
down so I could give him some more.
Right. I think, I think this is just a big game. And then BG is going to retire after this year. So that's going to be the next jersey I add to my collection.
There you go.
So I've got a Kelsey, I've got a Cox. BG, you're going to come home with me with a Super Bowl win.
Yeah.
I'm calling that.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I like that outcome. That works for me. Mm-hmm. So mine is a little different, but not entirely different. So obviously, I'm not going to sit here with a straight face and tell you, oh, it's going to be a rollover. Eagles are going to trounce them. It's not. Mm-hmm. It's going to be nauseating every single second of this game because the Chiefs are the Chiefs for a reason. They're scary because they've done it so many times, and they've done it in the biggest moments. So it's hard to go against something like that. Now, things in the Chiefs have going for them. They have not allowed a 100-yard rusher in the playoffs in the last 3 playoffs. Mm-hmm. But they've never played a team that has the best offensive line and the best running back in the league.
Right.
And has run over everybody this year. That obviously is going to be, it's going to have to be the hammer. Mm-hmm. They're going to have to not change up much of anything if they want to win. They can't turn the ball over.
No.
None.
And they've been really good with that.
They have to establish the run.
Yep.
Like they've done all season. If you come out and you punch them in the mouth, running the ball down their throat, and are successful with it, there's no way the Eagles are going to lose. No. It's just you. The Chiefs won't have enough time with the running game is rolling. Now, the Chiefs are going to do everything they can to make sure that doesn't happen.
Right.
That being said, I think this game lies on the shoulder of Jalen Hurts because of that. I think they are going to be so hell-bent on collapsing the box to stop Saquon. They're going to bring the safeties down, and I think it's going to leave the passing game open. Mm-hmm. So I think this is going to be more of a passing game than people think for the Eagles because of the threat of the run. You go out and you punch them in the mouth in that first quarter and you run all over them, guess what? They're going to be pulling up and you're going to have throws to make. Mm-hmm. If you make those throws, you don't turn the ball over, Eagles are going to win. Now, if the Eagles turn the ball over, they're not going to win. No. They're not going to win. No. You can't make mistakes against the Chiefs. You make one what's considered a costly mistake, you're not going to win. You have to be perfect. And that's okay. That's the expectation, is to be perfect. My down to it score, 31-27 Eagles.
Okay.
Jake Elliott will make his first 50-yard field goal of the season in this game.
Yeah, Jake, we need you on point this game, buddy.
At the most opportune time. It's going to come probably in the fourth quarter, and he's going to hit it. And I will breathe a sigh of relief.
Right.
But with all that said, everybody's going to be giving a lot of attention to Jalen Carter, and they should, because he's a monster.
Oh, my God.
I think the biggest beneficiary of Jalen Carter in this game is going to be Nolan Smith. He has 4 sacks in the postseason.
He's a stud.
So, that being said, I think he gets at least a sack and a half against Mahomes.
Okay.
Now, we both could be wrong. The Eagles could get blown out.
No.
I don't know.
No. There's
no one, listen.
There's no way in hell.
No one knows.
I do.
Anything
that is not happening.
The Super Bowl, anything can happen.
That's a big bag of cash for the refs. That's what that is.
But what I am saying, if the Eagles do not turn the ball over, they will win the game.
Right.
Whether that's going to happen, I don't know, but get that running game going in the first quarter, that will set you up for success throughout. So just why that, man, those first two series are super
important
game settings. You know what I'm saying? So you have to establish, and like basically you can tell the Chiefs, this is the play we're running.
Please try and stop.
Try and stop it and succeed. That's what you have to do. You have to be so good that you're going to like, yeah, we're running to the left. Go ahead.
Yeah.
And try and stop it. That's what you have to do and not turn the ball over. And that opens up everything else like it has all season.
Now, are you we want the ball first or we want it in the second half?
I always want in the second half.
Okay.
Especially with our defense. Yeah. I want to get the defense out there right away.
Yeah, I'm the same mindset. 100%.
You know what I mean? I want you don't mess around. You blitz up the middle first play of the game. Try and set a tone.
Right.
You know what I mean? The nice thing is you have a good secondary where you can take chances and throw an extra guy into a blitz.
Right.
I think Fangio is going to be aggressive the first series just to set a tone. And it's going to be fun. Yeah. It's going to be nauseating. It's going to be a roller coaster. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the pain and the joy of whatever's going to happen.
Right, exactly.
It's going to be a good time. And I'm excited because this is something I was not able to live through as a child. When I was a child, the Eagles were duty. They were brutal.
They were so bad.
You had the Cowboys, you had the Giants, you had the Redskins winning Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl, and we were just bottom of the barrel when I was the boys' age. Now they can sort of get those childhood memories of going to Super Bowls and having Super Bowl parties where your team is in it.
Right.
It's like when I was a kid, I thought the Eagles weren't allowed in it because we just weren't even in the playoffs.
What year did Laurie take over the team?
94.
Okay. All right.
94. That was the year I graduated high school. That's how I remember that. So he's been the owner for over 30 years now. And one of the best owners in sports. He lets coaches and GMs do their thing.
Do their job.
And not butt in. I think, hey, it's a great business model.
Jerry Jones should probably take a hint, a wink, and a nod from the way Jeffrey runs their team.
Nothing has been truer. Yeah. Nothing has been truer.
Stay the hell out of this coaching.
But as an Eagles fan, I love that Jerry is the GM of the Dallas Cowboys. Yep. Because as long as he is the GM of the Dallas Cowboys, they're not winning.
No, they're not.
Because let's be honest, they won those Super Bowls when he took over because of who he brought in as his coach, and he had talent. Yep. He didn't pick that talent. Let's be honest. Yep. Jerry did not pick that talent. That was his coach. So, and look what happened since. Yeah. So, enough said.
Yeah, Jimmy was fully responsible for those winning years.
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
Now, skipping on a little bit from the game, we need to get into a weekly segment called Gripe of the Week. Do you have anything on the top of your head that you would like to throw out as your Gripe of the Week this week?
I do have one in particular that I haven't told you about yet that I'm debating if I want to throw it out there.
Go on.
How do I want to phrase this? So, a former business associate of both of ours. This is a very long story short type situation. We made an agreement when said businesses were opening that my company would do the insurance for the business or businesses related to said owner. I got a email that went through a back channel through our home office that we contract with, where they sent over a legal document, which is very common in our industry, called an accord form, basically stating to cancel said policies for the local business that is in our backyard. So I don't know why the switch. I haven't reached out. I'm debating if I want to. But I feel kind of betrayed and ticked off because that was not the agreement that was made, and that's going to take thousands of dollars out of my pocket in pay. So I'm trying not to focus on it. I'm trying to just rise above it and move on. But I would be very interested as to why they felt they wanted or needed to do that. Because again, that was not the agreement. It wasn't anything written. And obviously the client always has the right to do what they want. But considering the investment that I made for said business to be able to be purchased, I never expected that situation to change. And that partner did make whole on his end of the agreement. But there was always supposed to be some, we'll say, extra in there.
Sure.
And apparently that is not the case any longer. So I have to handle that shortly. Again, I'm trying to do it with some grace and some composure. But that is my current gripe of the week. And I'm being super, super nice and professional about this right now because I could go off on a giant tangent, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to go down that negative energy route. So,
well, welcome to my world.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
That sucks. That sucks.
It does.
You're handling it like a true professional on camera.
Yes. Yeah. Karma is very, very real.
Yes.
I wholeheartedly believe it. I've been doing a lot of inward journeying and spirituality, and not religion, but spirituality practices, and going down a bunch of rabbit holes on quantum physics and stuff lately, which has been amazing for me, to be very honest with you. A lot of signs and synchronicities, a lot of good things happening, but to make room for the good, there always has to be let go of the bad. So that's probably just a dead weight that doesn't belong there anymore to allow me to move forward with something else.
Correct.
Like this situation here, I think this is going to take off into something, truly special.
Agreed.
So yeah, I'm handling it like a 13-year-old professional business owner would.
I thought you were going to say a 13-year-old.
I mean, my mindset is on many, many, many occasions that of a prepubescent teenager.
Yes.
Ask my wife, but yeah. So that's my very low key gripe of.
I feel your pain. I feel your pain. You have my empathy.
Thank you.
You have my sympathy.
Thanks.
You do. I understand what you're going through. It sucks. And but you'll move through it.
Oh yeah,
because
I'm fine.
Because you're better than that.
Oh yeah,
you're better than this person, for sure. So mine's is not necessarily as serious as yours. My beef is, and I didn't bring this up with you earlier because I kind of wanted to surprise it to you. Because I think it's hysterical. I've always thought that this thing that I'm going to mention is hysterical. And it's always bothered the hell out of me. And it's stupid. And I don't know why it bothers me. It bothers me. When someone gives themselves their own nickname.
Oh, shut up.
Now, I'm going to reference previous podcasts to our listeners. When the gentleman sitting next to me,
you're such a dick,
has referred to himself as Big J. Now, I have never,
you have not,
ever heard anyone call this man in my life Big J in the past 6 years. Not once. I basically have lived at his house during summertime. Not one of his children, nor his mother, nor his father, nor his brother, nor his wife have ever called this man Big J. Now, this is obviously a nickname he's given himself.
Kind of.
And that's okay.
Kind of.
that like in a lot of aspects, that's okay. However, I think we both know true nicknames, for better or for worse, are names that people give you.
Yes, I 100% agree with you, and I don't mean to cut your segment. I was called it at a period of time.
Okay.
Well before you and I knew each other. So I'll just put it in that, and I'll leave it, but I'll let you continue your gripe. I just had to throw that out there.
Okay. So when I brought this up to my wife that I was going to bring this up, she laughed her ass off. And she's like, "You're not going to do that." I was like, "Yes, because it bothers me." Because not in a serious way.
Right.
At all. In a funny way, because I have had people in my life that have tried to give themselves nicknames,
right,
and they never stick because you can't give yourself a nickname.
Right.
Listen, I would have loved to have a different nickname in high school. I would have loved to. And I've tried to give myself a nickname in high school, and it never stuck. But ultimately, I always just got called Becky. And it drove me bananas.
Oh my God.
It drove me suck. It drove me bananas.
Yep.
And the people who did it, you know who you are. But it was not out of spite.
No.
It was just my last name shortened.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, "Hey, just call me Bechtel.
Yeah.
Just call me Bechtel." No. And then I'd have people call me Marcus Aurelius, Marcus Welby. For some reason, my mom called me Bo, Henry, and Jose. I don't know why. Okay. But I wanted just to be called by my last name. Yeah. That was it.
Yep.
Nope. It was always Becky. And it drove me bananas, but there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
So when you called yourself Big J, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be a topic. This is absolutely going to be a topic." And I only bring it up because I love.
Yes.
And I think it's hysterical. Because we've all been there. You know, we all want cool nicknames. Listen, man, I see guys rolling around with nicknames, you know, like Hammer or, you know, whatever, something cool.
Right.
Ace, Lightning, whatever. Yeah. I was like, God, I want a cool nickname like
right.
that. You know, and I don't have a cool nickname like that.
We'll have to come up with one.
So I think maybe throughout the series of this podcast, we can get to a point where we will try out different nicknames for each other.
I like that idea.
You know what I mean?
I do.
So I will come up with a nickname for you and vice versa.
Okay.
And we'll see how it sticks. Do you know what I'm saying?
I'm good with that.
Yeah. So funny little closure to this. I had one of my best friends in high school, and we played sports together. We played hockey, and his number was 55. And in his yearbook, you can put your name and then you put your nickname.
Right.
And in the nickname spot, he put Big 55 as his nickname.
Okay.
I flew off the handles. Like, no one ever called you that ever.
Right.
You are 5'7".
Oh my God.
It's like no one ever called you Big 55 ever.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
And it drove me.
That's funny.
I occasionally run into him and I will still bring it up. And I was like, "Hey, what's going on, Big 55? He's like, "Yeah, what's up?"
Yeah.
It's like, "Yeah, whatever." You know what I mean?
So just to close, I'll close out my part of your segment there. So I've had a couple, as I'm 6'2" to 6'3", depending on the day and what convenience store I'm leaving. So yes, I am on the taller end. I'm 330 to 340. I was a power lifter, all that stuff. So I've had my nickname that one of my best friends, best man at my wedding, gave me years ago was Tiny.
See, that is an awesome nickname.
It was, and his parents, his brother, mutual friends. It was always Tiny. I mean, it completely was true because I am the complete opposite of Tiny.
That's what makes it funny. That's a great nickname.
And I didn't want to introduce that as, "Hey, this is Tiny," whatever. But I have no problem being called that. But in high school, my last name is Kadish, and most people were like, they couldn't say it for whatever reason, so it was Caddy.
See, that makes sense.
And it made a lot of
Yeah.
sense. And it actually kind of
get it.
stuck. One of my friends, I think it was, I don't know if it was prom or homecoming or what it was, but I borrowed my grandfather's 97 Cadillac DeVille,
Nice.
which was emerald green,
Oh, God.
gold trim, highest package you could get on a Cadillac DeVille.
Pimpmobile.
And it was. And my grandfather is from Lithuania,
Yeah.
so he was not anything like that. But I mean, it was in that car, it fit. It was royal, it was elegant, it was
Right.
gorgeous. And I took that to some dance or whatever
Yeah.
at my school. And I went to an all guys high school,
Yeah.
by the way. So you could kind of get away with a lot more back then with nicknames and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, God, yeah.
So one of our mutual friends came up with the term Caddyshack and the Cadillac.
That's awesome.
So I absolutely loved it. Ted Theodore plush. I don't know if you'll ever get to watch this, but I still remember it, and it sticks in my mind to this day. He would go, Caddyshack in the Cadillac.
Oh, my God. That's too funny.
Literally one of my many email addresses is Caddyshack.
It's perfect.
Spelled like my name.
See?
ACK at the end.
That's perfect.
It was good.
Like, it
was a good one.
That is a great,
Yep.
great nickname.
So yeah, I was literally Caddy or Caddyshack in high school. Those
are great.
Yeah.
Like, those make perfect
better
sense.
than Becky.
Yeah. But on the plus side, when I would go out on dates and the parents would, who are you going out with? So, I'm going out with Becky. It's like, oh, okay. It was helpful. It was helpful.
That's a good undercover.
Just don't go to the door to pick up
Yeah, right.
the date. But yeah. So in closing, I don't know about you, but I think this was a fantastic podcast. We covered a lot of good football and non-football related topics. Super Bowl is obviously on Sunday. We are both going to be in utter distress until the game is over. Hopefully we have a win. Hopefully we have a Super Bowl parade. And it's going to be an interesting, fun weekend. And I normally close with obviously a funny movie quote. And I still am. However, I was trying to find one that fit as far as a football theme. And I racked my brain and I couldn't do it. So I went back to one of the funniest movie quotes that I've ever heard. And every single time I watch this movie, I laugh my ass off, even though it's a juvenile 10-year-old boy joke that they would laugh at. It's hysterical. So I'm going to close on this quote. Everybody, I hope you know the movie. If you do, throw a guess, let us know. It's a little long, but bear with me. And it goes like this. Everything was fine with the system until the power grid was shut off by Dickless here. Is that true? Yes, it is, Your Honor. This man has no dick. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's one of my favorites.
That's a good one. And I knew where that came from.
Justin did know
I knew that one right away. So and I was trying to remember the joke I was going to say.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the exact wording, so I'm going to hold it. But it was a good one.
Hold it for the next podcast for sure.
Yeah.
So that being said, everyone have a great rest of the week.
Yes.
Have a great Eagles Super Bowl win. Have a great time. Stay safe. Be sure to like and subscribe. Comment. YouTube, Spotify. Where else are we at?
Apple. And iHeart.
And iHeartRadio.
We are
fantastic.
We are up and running on all of those platforms.
That is wonderful. So if you're going to listen in the car, drive safe.
Yes.
If you're going to watch on YouTube, I hope you're having a fun time staying away from your kids in the bathroom while you're watching this on your phone.
Perfect for toilet viewing.
Perfect for toilet viewing. Fits. So everyone, have a great week and go Birds.
EAGLES. Eagles. Deuces. We're out. See you guys. Love you.